Welcome to Spectrum Perspectives, real talk with parents, professionals, and autism advocates. With your host, Cindy Gellermini.
Hi, everyone. This is Cindy with another episode of Spectrum Perspectives. And today I have on a mom and her speller daughter, Jennifer and Rae. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So, first, let's talk to mom. Jennifer, let's talk about all the way back in the beginning, your pregnancy, delivery. How did that go? Were there any red flags, any problems that came up during delivery, or anything like that?
Yeah, so actually, I have four children and she's number two. And her delivery, my pregnancy with her was actually pretty uneventful. The easiest pregnancy, the easiest delivery. I didn't have at the time any issues. Like she came out looking great, beautiful. She cried. She did all the typical things when she was born. Yeah. And I never had any issues with pregnancy.
And then, how about her development? Was it on time? Was she delayed?
Her development was on time. It was on time until, I'm going to say, until about the probably 18-month frame. And then after that is when we started slowly but surely seeing more like what I would say a regression of skills, where she always had the best like eye contact. I never forget that she had such good eye contact with me, with with dad, with those that picked her up. She was always looking, engaged. She was even doing the referencing of like faces of like looking at you and then looking at like trying to show you that, oh, something else is happening over there and stuff. And that was fine until it wasn't. So yeah.
Did she was she beginning to speak, had a couple words?
She did. She had a couple of words, just your, mama, dada, Jews, I think up for picking me, pick me up.
Mhm.
Again, I always remember like, she also pointed at things, which I know it's something that a lot of us do not see after they get the diagnoses, but she pointed. She was really interactive. She had that kind of like, I'm looking at you, like showing any other signs of anything. She had the language, and then she didn't. Then she lost it, and then she lost the interaction. And this was, of course, for in our family. Well, I wouldn't say, of course, but in our family, it was due to the jab. We know that for her, she also has an older brother who's older, 2 years older, and they were both unfortunately injured by the jab. And they have a history of that, the two of them. But we started seeing with her, we started not only seeing the regression of like, I don't have many, she didn't have the words, she didn't have the eye contact. What we had seen before, we weren't seeing it anymore. It was a completely different child. And not only that, but we also noticed that she started having GI issues. So it was all after the job. We started seeing very like constipated, crying like constantly as a baby because you can tell that she was in pain. And that's when we started seeing the GI issues that we're still until this day dealing with, unfortunately. But yeah.
Did she get sick, or did you get a fever or rash or anything like that? Or it's just you saw the
No,
regression?
we just saw, we did not see anything like outwardly. Everything was pretty much internally. And we just started seeing the regression slowly but surely, like right in front of our eyes, just like this is not the same baby. And because her brother was diagnosed when she was 4 months old. She was a 4-month-old baby when her brother got diagnosed with autism. We were watching her like constantly. Like we were like, we know what to look for. We know, and we're watching you development wise and all that stuff. And it doesn't look the same for every child. So a lot of it, we were like, oh, she's just probably gonna have a little bit of delay, like in language, or she was a late walker, and now we know that's due to apraxia, but we'll talk about that later. But
Mhm.
yeah, so that was something that we were like, she's not showing the same regression as her brother, but nevertheless, she was showing regression, and the language just started like completely disappeared after all of that. So
So,
yeah,
so the brother has autism as well.
yes.
Can he speak or no?
It's unreliable. So
Right.
most of it is just, quotes and scripts and all
Scripting.
of that.
Is he a
Scripting.
speller? Does he spell too?
He's also a speller. He's not open yet on the
Okay.
boards, but they're working on that. Him and his practitioner are working on that, and eventually he will be. So
Okay.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
But Ray is open.
Ray's open. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So then what about the other two kids? Did you get them jabbed?
Nope,
And
zero.
they're fine, right?
They're fine. They're fine. I mean, they drive me crazy just because they're kids, but
Yeah.
they're not. They don't have
But no,
autism.
no autism diagnosis or anything.
No,
No
no.
gut issues, any of that.
No, they haven't had any gut issues, thank God. No, no. My third deals a little bit with the anxiety and ADHD type of deal, but
Mhm.
nothing. Like I always go back, and my husband and I talk about it. Like, can you imagine what would have happened if we also now, after having both Josh and Ray diagnosed with autism, can you imagine what would have happened if we did, give them the jobs? Like, can you imagine how we would be dealing with a third, pretty severe autistic child? And no, we just, so yeah, zero for the last two, none,
Mhm.
nothing.
Then this is just for the viewers. Are they in school? Did you have to get religious exemption or, because they say you have to have them all to get into public school.
Well, a little bit of a backstory, but we moved from California to Idaho. So we reside in Idaho now. And one of the many reasons why we left, our family thought of leave, we did leave and made the choice, the hard choice of leaving and moving to Idaho, was because they were going to require. My third child, he has a medical exemption that one of his doctors gave him, and so he was protected and covered and all that. But my fourth, my little baby, she's 6, but she couldn't get it because that's when everything came down on the doctors that were actually giving these medical exemptions, at least in California. They were being persecuted and basically threatened to take in their license away if they continue to do that. So we had to, it was literally like we had to leave. We didn't have a choice. And that was one of the main choices because I don't homeschool, and I wasn't going to do that. I wanted her in public school, and so she couldn't. So now that we're in Idaho, they do allow the exemption. They allow the whatever exemption you have, medical, religious. They just have you fill out a religious exemption form. You submit it, and you can go to any school here. So she's in a public charter. Yeah, so they're
Okay.
both
All
they're
right.
both fine. Yeah, yeah, we
Good to
haven't
know.
had any issues here.
Okay.
It varies from state to state. So yeah.
Okay. So how old was Ray when you moved?
21. Yeah, we moved here about a month before she turned 21. So she didn't get to end her years of her education, the adult side of the education piece, because in California it's up to age 22.
Right.
Here's until age 21. So she just and then when COVID hit, she was 20. So we had to, yeah, everything, shut down, stopped. No,
Right.
no, the whole online
Yeah.
silly stuff.
Which was a
Which
joke.
was nothing. It was like really like yeah. It was crazy. But we didn't. She just didn't finish basically.
Okay. Okay.
There.
All right. So she went to school in California.
So she did.
Okay.
California
And so
State.
was she in special ed
She was in special ed. Yep.
in a public school?
She started in a public school until so all the way through from preschool, early intervention. So before she turned 3, she started at a public preschool in special ed, all the way until 8th grade. Then we pulled her out and put her in a non-public school when she was from 8th grade. So it was from 8th grade to till 11th grade, which is when we moved. But it was I don't know basically they are special private schools, specially for kids that have autism or Down syndrome or stuff. So we moved her into a non-public school, but her whole life basically of school was in a special education setting. There wasn't much mainstream. They tried it one year when she was like, I think in like third grade. And it was just, it was a disaster because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to mainstream these kids. They're like, oh gosh, you can need an aid. Oh, well, now you're interrupting the class. Oh, little did we know that, of course, at that time, we didn't know what we know now. And so we went with the flow thinking that, well, the IEP team knows best. They know what they're doing. And so this didn't work. Okay, go back to special ed full time.
Right.
So yeah, that was very frustrating,
Yeah.
especially looking back now, like, oh my gosh, we could have done so much. We could have fought so much more. And I've been an advocate all my life. I was actually a professional special ed advocate,
Well,
and worked with an attorney in California, and we sued the school districts back, left and right, and I always thought, okay, well, I was doing what I thought was best at the time. And we fought even for the non-public school. Like we got her out of the school, sued the school district, and they paid for the non-public school, the private school.
right.
I thought at that time, again, that was the best. But now we look back and we're like, oh gosh, that was
Right. Because you
not
think,
work.
oh, well, because you're thinking in the special ed school, now those teachers know what they're doing. And now we
Exactly.
know everything we know about spelling, we're like, they have no idea what they're doing.
Well, and spelling at the time
Oh,
unfortunately wasn't in our lives yet, but
oh,
it was actually the schools, the private schools were all ABA based, all of them.
yes, of course.
So
Right.
then,
But that's what I'm saying. There's no spelling. They don't understand.
oh no,
They don't know
no,
anything about apraxia. They don't
right,
presume competence. That's what I mean. I mean, I
right,
don't mean to insult anybody by saying they don't
no,
know what they're doing. They
yeah,
just don't know. They don't understand about apraxia and
exactly,
and that they can spell and that they're really in there. They just
exactly,
assume they
yeah,
don't presume competence at all. They think that they're mentally 2 years old, right?
exactly, yep, that was the
So
thing. hmm
so did Ray use any kind of Proloquo or any of those type of devices to communicate?
So she was introduced, I want to say, looking back to the technology phases that we went through, I feel like she started, I don't even know if you remember this, but this was this big old box called the Dynabox.
Yeah.
Okay, like super bulky,
Hmm.
humongous thing that weighs so much. And that's where she started with the pecs like early on, right? And then the progression was like, oh, okay, now we can introduce the Dynavox. Okay, now we can introduce Proloquo, and now we can introduce. So the last one I think you did was the Proloquo on an iPad, and that's what she was being taught, or they were using it at school for the longest. And I remember that when they introduced Proloquo, she was, the same thing, like very limited. I want juice. I need to go potty. I want, to play. I want a ball, whatever. Very, very structured,
Hmm.
pre-recorded pictures and all that. I remember the speech therapist at the school at the time was like, she knows how to use this so well, and we use it throughout the school day, and we use it with our sessions and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, so you should take it home, and you should be able to, hopefully she'll generalize it. And she hated it. She would chuck it. She was just like, she'd be like, at home, she'd be like, I do not want this. And she had been like that for the longest time. I remember that. And now I look back and I'm like, oh, you were probably like, I don't want to use this crap anymore. I'm so sick of using it. How dare you show this to me at home? I know you got a lot to say about that, Ray. We'll get to
Yes.
that, but yeah,
Yes. So
yeah,
Ray, go ahead. Tell
yeah.
us what
You
you want
want
to
to,
go
what do
ahead.
you
What
want
do
to
you have to
say about?
say about that Dynavox and that Proloquo?
Yeah. Yes, it was the worst thing ever. Yeah, yeah. It was
What
just,
and why was it the worst thing? Because do you feel like it was too limiting, like it was treating you like a baby, like I want juice type of a conversation?
it was insulting.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good. Yeah, good answer.
yeah.
And Ray, were you wishing that there was another way that you could communicate where you could say your whole thoughts instead of just I want juice?
Yes, I wanted to say so much more.
Hmm.
We wanted to hear so much more, and we were just like, oh, this is, I guess this is all there is because this is what the professionals are
Right.
introducing. They know best. And
So I
so,
know for me, I always just thought that Robbie only had the mental capacity of a toddler because I didn't understand apraxia or any of this.
Mhm.
And I only went by what I saw. And when if I talked to him, he didn't answer me. It seemed like he didn't understand me. I thought he didn't understand anything. I didn't
Yeah,
know anything.
yeah,
So is that what you were thinking, that she was just mentally just like very, very childish, like based off of what you
yeah.
were seeing on the Proloquo, or were you seeing other signs like that? Wait a minute, I think she can read, like maybe she knows more than I think she knows.
Yeah. Yeah, so both, a little bit of both, because for me, I was, what I was told from the moment that she got diagnosed at 2 years and 2 months. But we started the assessments with her school and with the doctor when she was around 18, 19 months, especially because she was considered high risk also because of her older brother. So we got her into the specialist and everyone there for assessments. She wasn't even two. So they started saying, oh, we think first they were like, oh, it's a global developmental delay is what they told us because they didn't see the autism signs. And so she, not your typical flapping of the hands, tippy toe walking. We saw all that with my oldest and they didn't see it with her. So they're like, oh, it's just global delays. And then we came back and I said, no, listen, now she's doing more of the classical autism symptom stuff. And so they said, okay, she has autism, and then she also we're going to label her also as intellectually disabled. And it's like they were basically saying she's not even in a 2-year-old range at the time when she was like 2 and 3. And um, so that was really hard. I had such a okay. I went through a diagnosis with my son that broke my heart and was earth shattering. But it was with her. I don't even know how to explain it because for me, she was my baby girl, and so we just I had such a hard time like coming down with basically like accepting this diagnosis, like, oh my gosh, we are dealing with one and now we also have her. So that to me was terrifying and horrible, and it was just so sad for me. But I remember looking at her very differently than the way we saw our son. And we saw intelligence in both. That was the most confusing thing because they're saying this on paper, they meaning the professionals, the doctors and all of that, and then they will give us glimpses of this intelligence and understanding. Like you would talk to them one day and say something and they will automatically respond, or you can see it in their eyes that they understood and follow through. And then the next minute or the next day, it wasn't there, right? And now we know we were dealing with the apraxia, and of course we didn't presume competence early on, and so we were still talking to them as they got older. We were still talking to them as they were babies or toddlers, and little did we know. And so, and of course everybody around you tells you the same thing, so you're just like, oh, okay. But there was always something in the back of my mind, like we were just like, and even my husband were like, okay, they understand. And like her and my son were actually grabbing books constantly, and we're like, they're not just looking at the pictures, I think they're actually reading the books. And well, now we know they were. She has told me, Ray has told me that she learned to, or she taught herself how to read when she was 3 from a alphabet poster that was on our wall in the room we would use for ABA. So at that time, at that early on, at such an early age, she was already spelling. She probably was. She was already reading, and so yeah. So we would see glimpses from time to time, but it was very confusing for us. We were just like, Okay, we don't.
So
I would never know how much she understands and doesn't. So yeah.
that's so amazing that I keep hearing these stories of them teaching themselves how to read at 3 and 4 years old. I mean, I could not look at a poster of letters and just teach myself how to read just by looking at it. Like their
I couldn't
intelligence
either.
is so
I
way
couldn't
beyond.
either. Yeah, I
Yes.
couldn't either. Yeah. And they're like, oh, you guys don't even know. Let me show you.
Right? So
So
then what kind of stuff was she learning in school? Was she just learning like daily living activities? Were they teaching her any kind of math or
I
any
feel like
normal?
I feel like earlier on in the elementary grades, they were teaching, um, the math and the manipulatives and matching, color matching, one-on-one correspondence. I keep thinking of her goals on in the IEPs, and they kind of looked the same year after year. But I know that they were teaching her some maybe a little bit of like history around maybe fifth, sixth grade, with again the pictures and matching and all of that. But then as she got older, especially as she went into the middle school years, it did become of the functional goals. So functional English, functional math, functional, let's teach you how to tie your shoes, functional, let's teach you how to cross the street, functional, let's teach you how to read the signs on the, when you're out in the community, let's teach you all this functionality crap that I was like, oh my gosh, if I hear that word one more time, it was just very much like, well, this is what she has to learn in order to be prepared for the future, in order to be prepared for when she exits school. She at least would know, don't worry about the academics. So there was a shift, it was almost like a cookie, what do you call it? A cookie cutter. Like it was like, we're going to do all this academics, which really wasn't, but we're going to do more academics this or earlier on, and then we're going to shift you into the functional because that's what you need in order to be prepared for graduation. That's what we heard all the time.
Ray,
Yeah.
what do you think about your school experience?
Now you're going to tell them to go and do what? No, I'm just kidding. But what do you think? Such a waste, or so wasted. Sorry, so wasted. Yes. Yes, it was all a waste. Too many years. Too many years of. Too many years of teaching me. Teaching me what? Too many years of teaching me baby stuff. Yes, it was all a waste. Too many years of teaching me baby stuff.
Baby stuff.
Yeah.
So, Ray, I'm going to tell you a story. My son Robbie, he lives in heaven now. But when he was in school, he had a sense of humor and he used to do things to get you going, right? To laugh. And his teacher would tell me that if a kid in his class acted up and acted out and like got in trouble, that Robbie would start laughing all the time. And he thought it was hilarious when this would happen. So now knowing what I know about the telepathy, I am now imagining the kids are probably all talking to each other telepathically in the class, and I think they were setting it up. And I just have this feeling that Robbie was the instigator and was telling the other kid, "Hey, if you go do this, let's see if she does that." And then when it happens, they all start laughing. So I'm just wondering, Ray, did you experience anything like that in your class? Were you guys talking to each other telepathically?
Remembering those years makes me laugh.
Oh, it makes you laugh? Okay, it doesn't make you mad. It doesn't make you mad. It doesn't make you angry. It makes you laugh. That's a good thing.
I think it has made you mad and you're kind of over. I'm sure it has made you mad and you're kind of over that. It used to make you mad. Yeah.
It used to make you
Now
mad, but now you can laugh
laugh.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Um, but
so
did you have friends? Did you have friends in your class?
Mhm.
Are you still friends with them?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Good to know. I didn't know that.
See, there you go.
I'm sure you guys are communicating, and I just didn't have no
And you
clue.
just don't know,
I
right?
just don't know.
All right, we'll get to more. We'll get to more of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So she went to school until she was 21.
Yes.
Okay. And she's 25, so she's been out for 4 years. When did you find out about spelling and how?
We found out roughly around 2+ years ago. It was 2023, spring, almost summer 2023. Well, I shouldn't say we. I first, and my husband and I first watched the Spellers documentary, the movie.
Right.
We heard it through the many grapevines, Facebook group, or I don't even know where. I think it was Facebook group, um,
Wait, I
and
have to
so
interject something.
yeah,
On my the New Jersey the Facebook page, I don't want to say the name of the page, but on
yeah.
that page, they would not allow any posts about the Spellers movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So when I
Interesting.
hear because they said it was associated with Jenny McCarthy and the admin of the page does not take the same stance on
Okay.
the
Oh,
things that Jenny McCarthy is involved in, and so she would not allow posts that were associated with her, which I didn't even know one had anything to do with the other. I was just
I didn't
like,
think so.
why would you censor this, something that's so important that parents need to know about? So,
Exactly.
so in my state, a lot of people don't know about it.
Wow. Yeah. So, and you're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
know a lot of
So,
people, yeah, don't have the same view as Jennifer McCarthy does, but then at the same time, I'm like, what does she have to do? Because her son is not a speller, so what did I don't know. Anyway, but yeah.
it's
So
JD Hanley. He's
Yeah, yes.
JB.
Okay.
He's associated with her because he's within that
Oh,
space.
oh, gotcha. Okay, now that makes sense.
Yes.
Well,
And again, one has nothing really to do with
yeah, they don't, not at all.
the other.
Yeah, so we saw it again somewhere. Just it was when it first came out. You had to pay the $10 admission to see it, and
Mhm.
so it was just all it was like the big buzz and at that time, and so
So just you and your husband went. You didn't bring the kids.
no, we watched it.
Okay.
We paid the $10 at home. We watched it at home.
Oh, you watched at
Uh,
home.
it was at home. Yeah, it's when you would pay. You would just buy the tickets because we missed the local premiere or whatever to go see it at the
Oh, okay.
theater.
Yeah, because I went to go see it that year. It was like February or March of 2023. We went to a movie theater that somebody
Yeah, so
that
they were
yeah.
doing that. I don't even know if it came out here in the movie theater here, but it was around that time frame. And then we just waited until it was available to purchase for to watch.
Hmm.
And so we watched it, and of course I'm like bawling my eyes out the
Hmm.
whole time. And my husband and I were looking at each other, and at the end we were just like, "This is it." I just said, "This is it." We have tried it all. Immediately we like had a switch of like we need to presume competence. Oh my gosh, she's in there. This is it. We are trying this. We're trying this. So at the time, after we watched it, there was only one PIT, so practitioner in training. She wasn't even yet done yet with her training, and she was about an hour and a half away drive in Oregon. So there was no one local in Idaho. There was someone that we didn't know about, but she's like northern Idaho, and we didn't know of her at the time. But local in our area, this area is called the Treasure Valley. There was no one within like driving distance. So we went, and I called her. She also had a younger son that as a speller. And she said, I actually am a PIT. I'm looking for, more. I need more clients anyway to finish my certification. Your daughter would be like one of the only adults that I would, get to try. So if you are willing to come up here, and I would also drive to Boise area, we will take turns, and that's how it all started. So we started taking turns going there, and then so we would try to go like once a month, and then she'd come here once a month. So I would say about probably the first 3 to 4 months or 5 months, maybe 6. That's how I went. We just kind of took turns back and forth. So yeah, that's how it all began. And as I'm sure as you've heard from other parents at
So
first.
did you take both of them? You take your son and
No,
your daughter?
I just took her. I just took her.
Okay.
So actually, so my son, who he's not open yet, but he's actually still in California where we used to live. So
Oh,
he lives in a group home, and we have had him there for almost nine years. So way before COVID, way before we moved, way before all of this. This is a long story, and we're planning eventually on having things change in that area, but I won't get into that. But so he's working with a practitioner in California that comes
got
to the
it.
group home and works. So, because as soon as we started this with Rae, I was like, he's got to do it. He's
Yeah.
got to do it.
Yeah.
So we're not there, but he's going to do it.
Okay.
And we get to see him. We gotta go visit, and he comes here for the holidays and stuff. But
Okay.
so anyway, so I took her, and from the beginning, I was like, of course, my mouth dropped, and I was like, even just her asking her like prior knowledge questions, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I remember, Rae, you were so happy when we first sat, and when you first sat on her chair, and she just, I still have the videos, and she would keep looking. I was back here, she'd keep looking at me and smiling and giggling and looking back at, at the board. And I always tell people, like, because how, so she was 23 at the time, and I always, like, people ask them like, well, how long it took for her to become open, or how do you know she was ready, or like all this stuff. And I mean, I feel like because there was 23 years of silence. Okay. I just feel like she was so ready, and she knew, and she can hear my thoughts too. So she knew that I could presume competence, and then I was like, this is it. And she was ready. She's like, you ready? I'm going to show you. So she started, like, she just was like, I'm so ready to go. And we weren't even, one of the things too, like, we weren't even practicing every day. We weren't even practicing every day. We would just practice like off and on. It was like kind of unstructured, and it happened when she was ready. She was ready. And then
Tell me
eventually,
about the first day, though. Like, what did they do? Like, uh,
it
what are the
was a
first
lesson.
questions? It's a lesson. What was the lesson
Yeah.
on?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I
Rae, do
remember.
you remember?
The lesson was on, I don't know if it was, yeah, she did a couple. Hmm.
Just because a couple of them, one of the first things they spell, I think, independently is I am in here.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't okay.
That doesn't come the first day.
It was on some about some history lesson. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
was about the history of either, I don't remember. But no, she did not spell right away. The first lesson was just kind of, getting to know the board, and a lot of prompting, and a lot of
Right.
like all of that. But
That's
her
what I want to
first,
know. Like, do they have them just do like yes or no questions, or what? I've heard. Do you know Tawny? She wrote and Josiah, right?
yes, we know.
So in her book Josiah's Fire, they would write the answer on a piece of paper, and they'd rip the paper,
Oh,
and
because that was
he'd
our
slap the
that's
piece of
our
paper. That's RPM.
RPM. We didn't do RPM at all. This was
Okay, so
all
that's an
spelling to
RPM method.
communicate.
This is different. Okay.
Yeah, this was all spelling. So spelling to communicate method. It's all on the board, and it's all through the lesson. And then they give them the answers that the prior knowledge, the known. That's where they started. So and she did need some prompting at the beginning, but slowly started fading that. And she just started. But one thing that it's also part of her spelling journey and story is we got to a point where we wanted to also utilize the other practitioner that she already had been a practitioner for many years, that was started offering traveling in from northern Idaho into Boise every other 3 months. She would come for like a weekend, and she would say, hey, I'm going to be there for the weekend. If you want to go ahead and come, and I'll meet your spellers. So aside from seeing the practitioner in training in Oregon, we started seeing this other practitioner, and we saw her about, I think, twice. So 1 month we saw her, Rae did amazing. Then 2 to 3 months went by. Second time she saw her, She did, she was just progressing so beautifully. By the third time she saw her, that's when she gave her first open with me present, and that was um oh gosh, I was so emotional. So that was the time that's who she became open with, the very first open answer. And then from there we carried on, and she just became openly with me like this immediately. And actually after that we no longer saw her. We didn't need to see her anymore after she, or we tried and then it just didn't work out. So that's how it happened with us. Rae became open with me after that first session, that lesson that she did with her, and then from there she's been open with me. So
So you
yeah.
don't need to see anybody anymore now that she can spell with you.
Not really. We still do work with a practitioner. Now there is a practitioner here locally, only like 20 minutes from us, and she's actually become Ray's friend and our friend. And so we do. They have their own friendship, and they're working on Ray becoming open with her. So that's what as a practitioner. That's what they're working on, and that's just because she like, just we hang out together. They created her and the practitioner created a local spellers group, and so she's very much part of our lives. So they're working on they have a friendship, so they're working on that. I'm becoming open, but and we still do lessons, and she's still working on getting open with dad also. So she's not quite open with dad either. They're on the 26 letter board, the stencil board, but she's not quite open. Ray's not quite open with him yet. So yeah, so that's how that happened.
So how long did it take from the beginning until when she became open?
I would say it was roughly about,
Couple months?
I would say it was about 7 months, 7 to 8 months, something like that. I could be off here and there, but what do you think, Rae? Think it was about that time? Because you have a way better memory than I do. She said, would say about 7 months. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I want other parents to hear this too, because sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's long, sometimes it takes a really long time. Everybody's different.
Everybody is different. My son has been doing it for about a year and he's still not open. So it is very individualized.
Yes. But
It
it
depends
depends
on.
on the practitioner and the parent and all that. It's not necessarily a skill set. It's about being regulated, and they have to trust you and they have to feel comfortable with you, right?
Yes, that and the relationship between the client or the speller and the practitioner has to be one of mutual trust and understanding, and they have to feel very, very comfortable with them. So that was one thing I noticed with just being able to compare her working with two practitioners around the same time frame. I can tell she felt more at ease with one than she did with the other.
Yeah.
Both great. It's just they were, one was also more experienced than the other, too. So I think that had a lot
True.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one that's new is probably a little nervous,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's new
Oh
to
yeah,
her.
she would tell us.
And she's not
She's like, I'm
confident.
so nervous. Yeah, she would tell us all
Yeah.
the time. And we're like, I
Yeah.
know, I know. So yeah, there's a few factors that go into that. And
Right.
and also the level of apraxia. Every speller has a different level of apraxia. It could be
Yeah.
severe apraxia, and that affects, your sensory and your motor and all of that, and just regulates you. And it could
Yeah.
also be, that it doesn't affect you much. So that all has, because, you're doing the whole teaching the mode of the new neural pathways and all of that. And it's just like, well, they're also different. And so that depends. That's how, it all comes about. Basically, you don't
Right.
know when they're going to be ready. So
Right.
yeah.
So it's interesting. The last interview that I just did, her son is open with the practitioner, but not with her because she gets too anxious.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've heard her story. Yeah, yeah, with Tyler. Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
But also, um, a lot of times I hear that they can spell with the mom, they can't spell with their dads.
yeah. That also happens. So again, with us, like, our story is she can spell like semi opens with dad, but I don't. maybe she has spelled, I think maybe you have spelled a couple of very tight opens with dad off and on, but they're still working on it. So again, she wants to, and she tells dad all the time, Dad, practice with me, dad, and it's so hard because he gets home exhausted from work, and it's really hard. I'm at home with her, so it also makes it a lot easier. But yeah, they're still working on it, and eventually we have faith that it will happen. But it's very different with every speller. It's just different.
What
So
about the siblings?
the siblings, so they're 12 and 6. so
The
so
6-year-old's a little young, and the
yeah.
12-year-old too is a little young. But did they ever try?
So my 12-year-old, actually both of them, they're so cute. Both of them
Yeah.
have cried, especially in the beginning. They were so pumped. Oh my gosh, she can say this. Ask her this, ask her that.
Yeah.
So my 12-year-old has brought, the letter board to her. And I think Ray, you have kind of answered yes or no questions with him, like very, very briefly. And then the little one just kind of comes and thinks it's gonna happen immediately, and then she runs off. I'm like, okay, I'm no pressure. I'm gonna give you time to,
Right,
eventually, who knows? They might become practitioners later on in life too. So
right,
you never
right,
know. But
right.
they're very gracious, and they're very excited that her sister, has
There's a way to communicate with them
a
now.
way to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they always like, Mom, ask her. And I'm like, nope, you ask her. She's right here. Ask her.
Yep. Ray,
But
how did you feel that first day that you were spelling? What was going on in your mind?
happiness that I can communicate.
So what do you like to learn? What do you like to do now, Ray? Now that you can spell,
Yeah.
right? Now that you can communicate, what would you like to do? Like some people want to take college classes or they all want to be advocates in some way and help other spellers.
Advocating is my goal. I want others to find their voice.
Great.
Yeah. 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 She's been a big advocate, and has made it known, and she's got her own social media stuff. And so she has, whatever she likes to share, and I ask her for permission. She shares. You want to tell her about the other amazing things you've been doing? So I also so I also write poems and songs.
Yes. Your mom posted one of your songs on Facebook. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's okay. So the poems have been, she has a few that eventually I think we're going to make into a little book or something. But we definitely have talked about writing a book. And she, most recently, because of a very special relationship, wanted to put all her thoughts and emotions into a song, and her amazing music therapist was able to guide that, and she just busted out with this talent that was like, whoa, I didn't even know you have that in
Hmm.
there too. So she's surprising us left and right, and now she's very
So did she use an app or something for that? How was
yeah.
that song done? Yeah.
So she wrote all the lyrics,
Yeah.
and her music therapist and I helped her put it into, like, for, a verse, chorus, verse, like, kind of the,
Correct.
yeah,
Right, because it had the repeating chorus, which was great. Because
yeah,
I told you on that post that I'm a
yeah,
songwriter too. I don't
yes,
tell people
yes,
that
I
ever
saw
on my
that.
podcast, but I went through that phase of my life a
I
while
love
back.
that. But
But I
yeah,
know how it's done.
her.
It starts with an emotion and something that you want to say, right? And then and then the words come,
Yep,
and I noticed that some of her words were rhyming too, and that's something that just
she did
comes.
all that.
It
Yeah,
just
she did
comes, right?
that.
But
Yeah,
she can't physically speak or sing.
right.
So this is to help
Totally.
other people that if they have spellers that are trying to write songs too. I know there's some type of an app or something out there where you can choose the style of
Yep.
music, the voice, and all of that, and put it all
All of it.
together, right? So she
So yeah,
picked
yeah.
like it was a country
Yeah, so
thing.
the first one, she's written two so far, songs. The first one was country, like a love country
Mhm.
background or genre, and then the second one was more like a like a slow rock type of
Mhm.
song
Mhm.
or background. But yeah, it the first one was dedicated to the love of her life, her boyfriend,
Mhm.
which I'm sure we'll
We're,
get
we're
into.
going to get to that next.
So that was the first one. It was
Mhm.
very personal. The
Mhm.
second one was dedicated to all the non-speakers and slash spellers that are looking and desiring and longing for love, and kind of like an encouraging
Got it.
song
Got it.
to let them know, hey, this is this, this can happen to you too. And so very, very much of that. So we used the Suno app. That's what we used.
Suno, how do you spell that?
Suno.
Suno. Okay, good to know.
And it's
Yeah, because
free.
Elizabeth Bonker, I know, wrote a song also.
Yes. Yes.
She
Oh
probably
yeah.
used the same
I am
app.
in here. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we use Suno, and I'm sure there's other ones out there, and that one's free. And of course, if you want to upgrade, you can. But yeah, you plug in all the lyrics. You tell him you want a female, male voice,
Yeah.
what kind of
Mhm.
music, and you just pick.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. You just pick from all the options, and then she
I
chose
mean, what
one
what you
she
could do
liked.
with AI now
I
is
know. It's crazy.
unbelievable.
Yes, yes. So it's like, oh, wow. Okay, this is awesome. So,
Yeah, I mean, this app is going to put songwriters out of business. I mean,
yeah, I know. It's kind of like, oh, good. But
it was
yeah.
great. Okay.
So,
All
yeah.
right. So let's get to the good stuff. So I interviewed Zane and his mom. And I think this is where I found out about it. He wanted a girlfriend. He wanted to meet somebody, but he had criteria that they had to like he's a very strong Christian. He loves Jesus, and he's like, whoever this girl is, she has to love Jesus first. I was like, you go, Zane.
Yes,
Like he
yes.
knows what's important.
Hey, amen.
So, right? And then there were other criteria to that as well. I don't remember, but I think did you see his post or
Oh,
something?
yes.
So tell me the story how they met.
Okay, you ready? So,
Mhm.
I was just, I had never seen his post before, even though I know Dana has done various videos prior to that. But another mom, she also has a podcast, and she had just recently interviewed me, and she follows me on Facebook, and she follows Ray. And out of the blue, she texts me and shares his video of him asking that he has been looking for a girl who's also a friend online that loves him, that would love him for who he is and loves Jesus. And I was like, oh my God, I saw it. I saw it. I wasn't with her, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is the sweetest thing. This guy. I love it. I got goosebumps. I was like, amazing. I was like, oh, you know what? I will ask Ray." And this was like, there was a night I was watching it, and I asked her the next day. So I showed you the video, and I said, and it's all on text, of course. We recorded everything, but I showed her the video, and I said, Ray, so what do you think? And I remember you said, yes, I would like to get to know him. I want to answer to his video, and I want to get to know him. And so I reached out to Dana and I texted her. And so I said, hey, this, my daughter saw your video and your son's video, and she's interested in and wants to get to know him online. And we're in different states, so we got to set up a Zoom call. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. So I think within a few days we basically set up the Zoom call, and that's where they met and they started chatting, and quickly progressed into love and relationship. And he asked her online how if he wanted, sorry, he asked her online if she wanted to be his girlfriend, and she replied, yes, I'm honored to accept. And then they met for the first time in person at the Motormorphosis conference last month. So that
Right,
was,
which is held by the Spelling to Communicate,
yes,
like their
yes,
their conference.
yeah,
Right, which
exactly. So they met there for the first time, and they Zoom on a weekly basis.
okay.
We text every day. So
Okay.
Dana's texting obviously what Zane spells. I'm texting what Ray spells, and
Right.
she's his main CRP, so am I with
Right.
Ray. So
Right.
that's how it's
I told
going.
Brad told you before we hit the record button that you have very good taste in men.
Yeah.
I love
He's
Zane.
a
I think he's just so adorable. I think there's something about him that reminds me of Robbie. So when I see him, I'm just like, I just love him.
oh
He's a doll, and he has such a sweetheart.
yeah,
He's a good guy, and he's very cute.
he is very cute. He's very handsome, huh?
Hmm.
Want to answer
What
to
do you have
that?
to say, Ray?
Yeah. Yes, my guy's very handsome. He is. And so
Now,
they,
I have to imagine, though, that it might be a little annoying to them, though, that they have to text you and you have to
oh yeah.
text the mother, that to have the mothers in between. I'm sure they would much rather talk to each other without the moms in the way.
Yes, we were actually talking about this earlier today with your therapist because so her music therapist is helping on different goals, and again she helped with the setup of the song, and she's wonderful, and so she we were talking about goals, short term and long term goals that Ray wants to work on, and one of the things that she shared that she wanted to work on is basically not having the moms there all the time when they're together.
Yeah,
And I'm like, girl, I don't want to be there. I get it. I'm here to
mhm,
support you, but I also want to give you guys your space. And so does Dana. And we talk about this all the time.
yeah.
And so there's things that they also keep to themselves, and they're able to both also communicate telepathically. So we just kind of let them be,
That's
and we're like,
that was my next question.
yep, okay.
Hmm.
So, yep, yep. So it's
Yeah.
all
And what I've learned is they don't even have to be in the same zip code. It doesn't matter where they are. They can still communicate telepathically.
that's
So
exactly
I'm
right.
sure they're having the real conversations
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
telepathically, and they're having fake conversations in front of
Oh,
you.
is that it, right? That's
No, it's
exactly
just the
it.
very polite,
The very
hi,
polite
how are
way. Yeah.
you? I hope you're having a good day today. Well,
Yes.
they're probably
She says yes, that's right. We knew. But yeah, they one day, so funny because I think it happened before, yeah, right before they met in person. And she normally chills on the couch and is listening to, so her headphones are noise cancellation, but they also, she has music on, so on the
oh,
background.
okay.
So she's got her iPhone and she's listening to music like all day long. She can still hear obviously everything. And
Yeah.
so she's just chilling there. And I'm like, okay, it was time for her night routine. Got to get you, let's get you upstairs. Let's start getting your night routine going. And she just would not budge. She was just like looking at me like, leave me alone. And and she never does that. And I can tell she was like having a conversation,
Hmm.
and it's just this particular body language that she had, and she was just smiling and like, kind of like when you're like daydreaming type of thing.
Hmm.
And I was like, great, okay, I'll give you another 10-15 minutes, come back. I did this several times throughout the night, and I said, what is going on? She finally said, Zane and I are having a conversation, leave me alone. Like, okay.
Okay.
So you take your time and let me know when you're ready for your bath.
Right.
So that's how that went. And it's just, and it happens all the time. They do it, at nighttime when supposedly they're supposed to be asleep. They're doing
Right.
their
You
communication.
guys are in different time zones.
We are in different time zones,
Or
different
do
zip
you?
codes, different time zones, just an hour
Oh, it's
difference.
just an hour. Okay, that's not
So
so
we're
bad.
Mountain Time and they're Eastern Time.
Yeah, she's in
So,
Tennessee.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
So, yep, this happens all the time, and probably more than they've let us on to,
Oh,
they've
yeah.
told us. Yeah.
So, Ray, do you go to the Hill?
Yes. Yep. Yep. She
So,
sure does.
so I'm just wondering if you, so obviously you didn't meet each other on the Hill ahead of time. You didn't meet Zane until all this came about, where he put it out that he wanted to meet someone.
He has met me. He has met me there before. This is the first time I'm hearing this. First time I'm hearing.
So I'm curious, when you're on the Hill, do you only hear voices or do you see people's faces? Like, do you know what people look like when they're there? Like, do you know who you're talking to, or it's just like a random voice that you're hearing?
We hear their what? Mhm. We hear their voices. Okay. So you don't see them, you hear their voices. Okay.
Okay. But there can be like thousands of them there at the same time. So how can you tune out 1,000 voices and just have a conversation with one person?
Zane has a timid voice. So I guess you're
Right.
able
So how do
to,
you hear him with all, so are you able to tune everybody else out? I guess that's what I'm
yeah, that's my
wondering.
question too. We tune others out.
Okay.
Good. I mean, that's
So when is the first time that you ever went to the Hill? I'm just curious how old you were.
around 1 year ago.
Oh,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then how did you find out about it?
I don't know this either. So I'm learning for the first
I'm
time.
just wondering if it's something that naturally just happens, or does somebody tell them about it, or
Spellers tell each other.
ah. So what other spellers do you talk to?
This I know you shared with me before. So some other ones. So you're not going to give us names?
It doesn't have to be names. I'm just wondering, is this people that she met at through the other practitioner? Like, are they or oh, well, you said that they have like a she has like a support group or something.
Yep. So, okay.
Okay.
There are many I talk to. So she's not giving names.
That's
There
okay.
was a couple that she had given me names before. But
That's okay.
oh, so the group, yeah.
I'm just wondering where she meets other spellers, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's so she and I and her practitioner here, we because of the desire that she had to create a community here, because there's not many spellers here in this area.
Hmm.
And so it's still very heavily ABA geared towards.
Hmm.
So we basically talked, and she said, I want to create a hangout. So she calls it the Treasure Valley Spellers Hangout. So that has become like a community of whichever spellers we have found. We meet once a month and maybe a little bit more in between them. During the summer months, we met more often for swimming and stuff, but it's just like a social place for spellers to come in person. So
Right.
we meet in person. We either go swimming or we've used like a space of the YMCA. We're kind of getting more when we get into the holidays. We're gonna get more into like holiday gatherings and fun parties and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And then there's a couple that she has more of a connection. I would say more connection with, because there's two others that are open. So there's actually, yeah, there's another girl that's open, and her and Ray are the only open, like really open. And then the other one is open sometimes with his mom, and other times, just kind of. I think he's considered fully open, but he's
Right.
not as advanced just yet
Right.
as she and her
But they
friend.
can still talk to each other
Oh yeah,
telepathically
yeah,
anyway. It
yeah,
really doesn't
exactly.
matter if they can spell or not.
Oh yeah, yeah. The other day we just met, and when the three of them were in the hot tub, and they were just so quiet, of course, talking, and that you can tell they were carrying on their own conversation while their
Yeah.
parents are over here carrying their own conversation. We were
Right.
speaking, obviously they were doing
Right.
their own speaking. So yeah, so there's others there that she has met and chatted with, and
Right.
kind of still chats back and forth. Yeah. So
So, Ray, let's talk about spiritual gifts. Let's talk about Jesus
mhm.
and think, do you see angels? Can you see things in the spirit?
Yes, I can. Yeah, she wrote a poem about angels, actually, about the angels, and she has shared about having a guardian angel for herself. Yeah.
Okay. Does,
Yeah.
does your guardian angel have a name? That was a recent conversation with somebody.
Yep. She does. She's spelling it out. Faith. Yep. Her guardian angel's name is Faith.
I think I heard that somewhere. I don't know if that was somebody's interview. I think I heard that. I knew that Ray's angel's name was Faith. And what about, do you see demons also? Do you see the bad things?
Yes, sometimes I do see them.
And have you seen Jesus?
Yes.
I heard someone say, who was it? Oh, it was my friend. He told me that Jesus is on the hill sometimes, and that he's there on the hill. Have you seen him on the hill? And that there's angels there to protect them. So don't anybody try to go to the hill that you don't belong there.
Exactly. Yes.
You see him on the hill. Have you ever seen him in your house?
Sometimes I have. Whew, that's awesome.
Have you ever been to heaven? I know Josiah goes to school in heaven.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've been to heaven? Like a lot or just a couple times?
Rare times.
Rare times. So when you go to heaven, what's happening in your body when you're here? Like, I'm very curious how this happens. I want to know, how are they going to heaven and coming back? And is it like when you're saying like she didn't want to take a bath because you could tell that somehow she's having these conversations with Zane, like what's happening here while their spirit is
there? Yeah, I would like to know also.
Where is this at night? Is it at the bed?
Oh, okay. Yes, time here, and she's not done yet, but before I forget, yes, time here and there are completely dimensional. So different dimensions, yep. So you can be, that's something that I didn't, she hasn't shared with me, but so you're basically saying you can be here chilling and
Here and there at the same time.
here and there at the same time. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's a big yes.
Was it during the day or is it like at night? Because a lot of times I've heard a lot of stories about them always getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the angels come or Jesus comes at 3 in the morning.
Waking hours too. Okay, so night and waking hours.
Both times. Both times.
Wow.
Have you seen any people that you know in heaven, like somebody that's passed away, like a grandparent or something like that?
Oh, I'll take my arm. You got it. Okay, rarely. Okay, she's still going on. Sorry.
Okay.
Zane and I see each other there.
You see each other in heaven?
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
okay. So when you go to heaven, because I read books and I listen to a lot of videos where people have near-death experiences and even have just these supernatural experiences where they just go back and forth to heaven and stuff. So I've heard different descriptions of heaven, and there's lots of different places to go. It's not just a bunch of clouds.
Right.
It's a lot of different, mountains and flowers and the crystal sea and gardens and secret gardens and waterfalls and like there's all the different type of places to go. So when you go, are you where are you? Are you like in a garden, or what are you seeing when you're there?
So it has to be in a garden because of its flowers.
Okay. Have you ever seen your mansion?
Yes. Wow. I'm just here, like, I'm trying to take it in. Because
I'm basing this off of stuff that I've heard. So that,
Wow.
but I've never actually physically talked to somebody about this. Okay.
Wow.
So you've seen your mansion. So what does your mansion look like?
Wow, that's amazing. Ready? Very good. You can't even imagine the beauty. Yeah.
Papa.
Have you seen anybody that has passed away? Do you ever see them here? Like Josiah says his auntie, he sees her all the time, that her heavenly job is to be his guardian. So Katie just was talking about that in her podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell me who it is?
Yeah.
You got it. It's my aunt too.
Mm.
Okay.
Do you know who it is?
Mm.
I have an idea. Actually, would be. Are you talking about my aunt, which would kind of be like
Her great aunt.
great aunt? Thank you.
Yeah.
Because that's yes. Okay. I was gonna say that's the only. The only one that I know of that's passed away many years ago. Actually, Ray, you never met her here on Earth, so yeah.
So you've seen her in the house. So do you think she's there just to like look out for you, say hi to you, just hang out, or I'm just wondering why she's here.
Have you seen her here, or have you seen her in heaven? I wanted to clarify that because I'm not sure if which one she's referring to.
Okay.
Okay, I have seen her in God's glory,
Okay.
so not
Okay.
here, but there.
What about at the hill? What about at the hill? Are there people there that have passed away that still go to the hill, like John Paul?
Got it? Too much to recall.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just curious because I know John Paul used to go there all the time, so I'm curious to know if he's still, because it's definitely like it seems like it's in a spirit realm. It's not,
For sure.
telepathic, we can explain that scientifically, but if Jesus is there, that tells me this is they're in some kind of spiritual realm when they're there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just curious.
Yeah, we definitely know it's a spiritual realm where being that we're believers and Christians and in Jesus, and we're very try to be very particular and why, or not particular I should say, but like discerning and try to be wise in what we in what we hear and what we believe, because we definitely don't want to be led astray in any way in that sense. But this, and I should add, this is all very new to us, very new. Like spelling came and then telepathy came right after
It
that.
comes right away.
Yeah.
Once they start spelling, then you start finding out all this stuff,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
and it's funny because I just had lunch with somebody last week and I was telling her this stuff and it was blowing her mind, and I realize I'm so used to it now from talking about it all the time. This is like
Right.
everyday stuff for me.
Yeah.
But
No, now
but
for
when
us,
you
like,
first find out, especially as a Christian,
yeah.
you could get freaked out about it,
Yeah.
because because
It's kind of
Christianity will
taboo.
explain everything away as that's evil, that's demonic, like the telepathy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's how
how
we
did,
were raised, for sure. That's how
yeah, what was your reaction?
mine or hers.
Yours,
Oh,
when you
mine.
first started finding out about this stuff. Were you worried that like what's happening here, or were you just open to it?
I At first I was first I was so shocked, and then I was like, oh my, there's just so much that we don't know, that Ray is just now letting us like sharing with us and letting us know. And then my husband and I talked about it, and he's like, whoa, what? He kind of had been on the fence for a little bit, and then I just started believing. I'm just like, I believe everything she says. There's no doubt.
Mhm.
At least I don't think so. And if there is, she calls me on it. But I believe everything,
Well,
that she said.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason for them to lie,
Right.
and most of them are not capable of lying anyway.
Exactly.
But like one of the books that I read is a woman, she's not autistic or anything, but she has these spiritual experiences where she goes to heaven and comes back, just like they do. It's the exact same experience. She's just not autistic.
Mhm.
So, some people, obviously are not going to believe. And somebody had said to me one time, well, I said, what would be her motive? And They said to sell books, because she wrote to it. They think that she does it just to make money to sell books and that
Okay.
she's lying.
Mhm.
But these kids aren't selling anything. They have no reason to lie. So my question to you, Ray, is what would you say to somebody that doesn't believe in heaven and doesn't believe in Jesus and doesn't believe that any of this is real?
I would say open your eyes to the truth. Yeah. Because that, I mean, again, for them, truth is truth and lies are lies. There's no
Right.
there's no gray there.
And
There's
that's what I'm
no,
saying, that they're not
yeah,
capable really of lying. A lot of them.
yeah,
It's just it's
yeah,
yes or no, it's truth or false, and there's no in
yeah.
between.
Yeah. One of the things too with that we have realized is, and this probably speaks for, I mean, I'm speaking from our experience, what we've seen and with her spelling, but it'd probably be true for others that it takes such control and such motor, you know, control with the apraxia. And I mean, I know as they get better and better and open for longer, it just becomes that, right? It becomes that automatic. But why? I mean, it takes a lot for them to spell one word, one letter at a time. I don't think they want to waste it in BS, right?
Mhm.
Or in line. Like I don't. It's just, I know for Ray, that's, she's told me, and they already know what they want to say when, right, when you're, even when you're still speaking, they already know what. So it's like, I'm gonna spell and I'm gonna tell you how it is. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you. There's no room for lying there. So
Right.
is that pretty accurate, Ray? Because I know you told me that before. Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
So
they're not going to waste all that energy on
yeah.
nonsense.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
does Ray have any other gifts like synesthesia or any of those other type of things?
Oh yeah, she has synesthesia. Yes. Okay. Yes, I do. Yes, synesthesia for sure. Too many to count.
Can you see auras?
Sorry. Rarely. Yeah. That's not one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
What other? Do you want to tell them about the ones that how the synesthesia affects you with the music? Yes, I can see music too.
Oh, she sees the music.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She sees it in colors. That's what synesthesia is. But
Yes. In colors. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's what you told me. Yep. So
Mhm.
that
What else?
tracks.
What other ones do you know of that you can think of?
To see music is like heaven.
Hmm.
I can't even imagine.
Well, that's interesting that she says that because I've heard that in heaven you can see the music. You can see the colors and right? And there's always music playing in heaven.
Exactly. Always angels praising God and
Yeah.
so
That
many.
even the flowers sing and
Yeah. Yeah. The animals, everything. I know. Yeah. So that's amazing.
Ray, do you want to marry Zane someday?
You got it. Yes, the marriage is going to happen soon.
Oh, well, okay then. All right.
Yeah, this has been an ongoing, almost daily conversation
Yeah.
between them, between moms, all of it.
But as
It's
soon as she
all,
told me that she sees him in heaven, I already know that this is a sanctioned thing.
oh, this is this is by no doubt a marriage made in heaven.
Made in heaven, literally. Yeah. So,
Literally.
yeah, I already know. So that's a good place to kind of wrap it up. I was just the only other question I wanted to know is if you have any other plans to see Zane again soon.
Oh yeah. Do you want to answer that? Yes, we will be there soon, like next week.
Oh, you're going to Nashville, Tennessee?
We are. We're flying into
nice.
Nashville. Yes. Yeah, we're actually flying out Wednesday.
Oh,
So,
really?
yep.
Yeah, because I'm going to Nashville next month, but she's not Knoxville though, not Nashville.
No, they're about 40 to 45 minutes outside of Nashville.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay.
It's what she's told me. Yeah,
Okay.
but we have to fly into Nashville and then drive. So, yep, we will be there soon.
All right.
More stuff to come and share on social media after these two
great.
see each other again. But yeah.
Yeah, make sure you post so that we can all follow along. Zane's mom posts on TikTok
Yep.
and Facebook.
Yeah.
We
But-
just started doing TikTok not too long ago. I haven't posted there much, but Rae has a Facebook and Instagram page. So
Oh, she does. Okay, so there you go. That was my final question is like how can people, stay in touch and follow Rae?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
what's your
look
info
it
there
up.
on Insta?
Let me look it up because I tend to forget. I have mine and she has hers. So hers is Speller Rae Ruiz.
RAE is how you spell Rae, Ruiz,
Yep.
RUIZ.
Yes, ma'am.
And
That's
that's on Facebook and Insta.
That's her Instagram.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming on today. Rae, thank you. I know I wore you out. You've been spelling to me for a long time, but thank you so much for coming on to talk to me today.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Okay, bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed listening and it helped you gain a new perspective. To learn more about our children's book series, Robbie's World and His Spectrum of Adventures, or to learn more about what we do at Robbie's World Foundation, simply visit our website at robbiesworldbook.com.
Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to join us again on our next episode of Spectrum Perspectives.